The Alabama State Supreme Court ruling against IVF treatment, only partially softened by that state's legislative action this week, made reproductive rights a major focus of last night's speech. Mr. Biden saying he would work to codify Roe v. Wade if reelected, and calling on Congress to act for a nationwide guaranteed right to IVF. Joining us now is Barbara Kalura, President and CEO of Resolve, the National Infertility Association, a nonprofit patient advocacy group. And she was in attendance at the State of the Union last night as a guest of Congressman Gerry Connolly. But what did you were in the hall.
I was.
And it's so different in the chamber.
It was. It was incredible. It was incredible. The energy, you could feel it. Mm-hmm. It was really, for me, it was a surreal moment, for sure.
And what about the substance, of course, on your issues of reproductive rights?
Well, here we are talking about IVF and infertility at the State of the Union. It was unbelievable. It was amazing, but we have a lot of work to do.
After Roe, there were warnings that this was just the beginning because of the way Roe was written. Obviously, every state was going to have the right to do their own thing. Alabama did. And what they did legislatively this week only changes the penalties.
Right.
It doesn't change the fundamental state Supreme Court ruling saying that an embryo is a human being.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The status of an embryo in Alabama is that it's a person. A frozen embryo is a person in Alabama. What this ruling did was give some immunity protections to those providers so that they could open. They have a big issue to fix in Alabama. They have to take this back to the voters, do a constitutional amendment, and fix it so that they can feel really confident in the state of Alabama to get care and also deliver that care.
I had the impression, just watching this evolve in that couple of days after the decision, that the politicians were really surprised, taken aback. Mm-hmm. I don't know what world they live in and whom they're married to or who their children or friends and relatives, but I know very few people who have not, in this day and age, had to revert to what, frankly, wasn't available when I was a young woman.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned, everyone focused on abortion. And contraception and IVF have been sort of lesser focused on. Certainly, we knew this was going to happen. And like you, we feel that this is a very common thing. 1 in 6 people suffer from infertility. Now, not all will need IVF, but that's a lot. And yet, a lot of policymakers are saying, gee, I didn't even know this was a problem or that this would impact people.
And, IVF is not easy. It's difficult emotionally. It's expensive. It takes time. It doesn't always work. And, it is a draining experience for couples to go through this and to have it taken away mid-process or right on the verge of thinking they had finally possibly succeeded is just so crushing. So they had to act, but they still have not fixed it. What about the so-called abortion pill, mifepristone, and the fact that it's up before the high court? Who knows what they're going to do with that?
Yeah, there's a lot that has to be decided. That we really hope. We have been part of an amicus brief for that to go the right way of patients and being able to get care. But this is all part of a bigger picture of an attack on reproductive rights. And the fact that we're talking about IVF and people are so surprised, that is reproduction in its most basic form. We're talking about building families, but we don't have protections right now. We don't have a federal protection for IVF. We need to get that done in Congress. And you mentioned access. There's a lot of people that don't have insurance coverage for this. And so there's still a lot of work to be done. But I'm with Resolve, as you said, and we are working very hard to make sure that these protections are in place. I was in Montgomery last week. I saw those hundreds of advocates. I get emotional thinking about it. I talked to people who were right in the middle of their cycles, and they didn't know what was going to happen. And these folks have saved money. This is a process that doesn't happen overnight. Weeks on weeks preparing for this, and then to have it all of a sudden just end. So the clinics in Alabama, most of them have opened again. So I've heard that there was even some embryo transfers taking place as recent as yesterday.